Welcome to this SDL Tridion whiteboarding session. Today's topic is the basic publishing flow. Last time we looked at how you connect your different server types together into one environment, and now we're going to have a look a little bit more closely as to how the communication between those two environments work. Now last time, if you recall, we had the content management environment and we had the content delivery environment, and the connection between the two was from the publishing server and the deployment server, and each of these environments had its respective data store. So the content management data store stored our content, and our content delivery environment had a broker database. Now when an end user creates content and requests it to be published, a request for publishing is put into the publishing queue. Now, request for publishing basically means that content will be moved from the content management environment to one or more content delivery environments. In this picture, we only have one. So the item is put into our queue here, and the queue is just a list of jobs to be processed, and they will be processed by publisher service. And publisher service polls the queue and finds jobs to do. When it does, it will pull content from the database, and it will start to render that content. When the content is rendered and ready, it will pass off the content over to a service called the transport service. The transport service job is to move or distribute content. Now typically it does that via a protocol like HTTP or FTP, and it pushes the content out to a configured delivery environment. And on the other end of that is a deployment service. Now, the deployment service is either an actual service or it's a website or a web service. And that deployer takes the job and processes the job and places the content in the storage as configured. In this case, the example we have is putting in a broker database. When it's completed that job, it will basically write a status file, and it will actually write that status file actually as it goes throughout the job. But the last status is that it will write that file and it will say success. During the life cycle of the job being processed by the deployer, the transport service periodically checks with the deployer if this file has been written and what is the status inside this file. The last status, I said, is success, but there's lots of interim statuses such as committing deployment, readying deployment, and so on. That status is written back to the publishing queue down here so that the end user can see how far the job is through completion. Once the job is success, this status file is deleted and the item is finished, marked as success in the publishing queue, and our content is moved to our deployment environment. We could have multiple delivery environments. In this picture we only have one, but we could have multiple delivery environments in, for instance, different data centers or different geographical parts of the world, different data centers for failover purposes or different data centers for geographical location, but all in essence works exactly the same way. So this gap here is some distance between the two environments. Unpublishing works in the same way, only there's no rendering process taking place, and an unpublished command is sent to the deployer, and the deployer will remove the items from the database. But essentially the same process takes place between the two environments. It's important to note in this that the communication between content manager and content delivery is always from the content manager to the content delivery. It's never in reverse, because this delivery environment is potentially in a less secure zone than the content manager, and so we only want to come out from the content manager to the content delivery environment and never in reverse. This is typically perhaps inside an on-premise situation which is secure. Additional note, this communication can be secure, so if you're moving secured case content, it can also run over HTTPS or FTP, secure FTP. And that concludes our update on how that works, how the publishing flow works. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at @JuleW. You can email me if you wish, or you can find my website on julianwraith.com. Thanks, until next time.